So yes, I told you we weren't going to get much rain, and the good Lord laughed. 3 storms later, in 3 days, we've got over 4 inches of rain. And this garden, she's throwing a bloom party. Welcome back to Bow Tie Life, where your garden doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. It's June here in Destin in Zone 9B, and today we're tackling the raised beds. This is a part 3 of our monthly garden tour, and if you missed the front yard or outer beds, you might want to catch up. You can follow the link at the end of this video to see those parts if you have not seen them yet, and be sure to subscribe while you're here. Now, as you can see, we've had 3 consecutive days of rain, and we have over 4 inches of rain already, probably closer to 5. We're wet, and this garden looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to start right here with the GreenStalk behind the camera as soon as it stops pouring. And we're over here with the GreenStalk, and it's very promising. It looks a little bit different today because we are starting to get runners. And you'll notice, look, see this runner right here? It comes from this strawberry plant, the one that's produced a couple of little tiny strawberries. But look at this. This is the runner. This is a new plant. This is an exact copy of that plant. I say exact copy. It's the same genetics. And all you really have to do here, people, is just take this and stick it into the next GreenStalk pocket. Now, sometimes it doesn't want to stay there. And so what I do, hang on, let me go get one. This right here is a stainless steel teacup hook. Ooh, high tech. It's the exact same hook that I use to attach the shade cloth up to the trellis. They're stainless steel, so they don't rust at all, which is very cool. But what I'll do is, if that thing doesn't want to stay there, which a lot of times it doesn't, most of the time, I'll just stick that thing down in there. And because it's stainless steel, it's not going to rust. It's going to stay there. But notice this runner. See, it goes on over here. And look, perfect distance for this GreenStalk is another little plant clone. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And so we go here and pull a weed. There we go. We pull the weed out. We stick this new plant in and get me another little hook out of my pocket. I got them in my pocket. See, there's another one. I got a box of these on Amazon for pretty cheap. It was like 60 or 80 of them. I'm going to have to buy another one. And so, look, one plant way around here has started this plant, and it's going to start this plant, and these things are going to start rooting. And this is the cool thing. Look, there's another one getting ready to go. Hopefully, it will be able to reach over to this one by the time it's ready to go. And so, one plant starts 3 new plants already from one plant. That's exciting to me, folks. I'm a cheapskate, right? And so, I like free things whenever I can. We're going to talk more about propagating plants and other stuff here pretty soon. And so be sure to subscribe and stick around, because I like to propagate the things that we already have, especially if it's things that I enjoy. Now, I guarantee you there's going to be a runner right here. So, you know what? There's no runner right here. Oh, but there will be. There's going to be another runner here somewhere. There got to be. There's a lot of these out here. Okay, so not yet, but that's a good start. Anyway, we have a whole bed over there. If you saw the outer garden bed tours, you know that we have a whole empty bed for the strawberries this year. I'm looking over here at these strawberries to see if there's any more, because I don't want to miss any of them. We're going to be doing a video on strawberry propagation for the plants, and we're going to be doing for Citronella. Go back and look at the, in fact, you see the link in the upper right hand corner here, that symbol. That means there's a link down in the description for the one on rosemary. We got 54 free rosemary plants, people. Is that not amazing? It's a bit of a frat house over here. I am waiting for this. Look at here. See this parsley right here? I'm waiting for these things to start propagating new parsley. So I'll actually take, and see, that one's already got the seeds ready to go. You can take that thing, folks, free plants. Free plants, people. Look at there. I just started a whole bunch of parsley seeds for free. There's some more right there. I'm going to start some more in here for free. Yeah, you see the little seeds down there? They're ready to go. I'm going to just kind of bury them in a little bit. Be done with it. That's it. That's it. That's how easy it is to get free plants, people. You go to these videos and they talk about all the technical stuff you have to do, and you know what? Parsley will just do it itself. It knows what to do. It's been doing it for a very long time, probably a little bit longer than we've been alive, right? So there you go. That's the GreenStalk. I'm very excited about it. We're going to have something this year. I kind of let this thing go this past year. So I was just about to move on from the GreenStalk, and I saw this. Look at this, people. On the other side that we weren't looking at, there is another runner. And there's only one person I know of that needs to have this information, people. And that's going to be Big Will Dog over there at Big Will Dog in the soil right now, because he is trying to propagate out some of his strawberries into his GreenStalks. He has several of these. He's learning on the GreenStalk, and I'm very proud of my brother over there. Good friend of mine. I'm going to grab another one of our stainless steel hooks, and I'm going to hold this thing down in there. And it doesn't have to be this hook, people. This is just what I happen to have around. I do like the idea of stainless steel because they don't rust. I can take those things out a little bit later when that starts rooting in there, and it will be good. So another strawberry plant started. What do? We started 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them. No, 3 of them. And a 4th one on the way. That's a lot of strawberries to suddenly have. Go visit Big Will Dog over there. Big Will Dog in the Soil 82. You can see that link up there. That means there's a link down in the description below. And you can follow his channel and find out what he's learning, because he's sharing it with you. On over into bed number 1, we have our first zinnia. It actually bloomed while we were gone. And cousin Bowtie Mark sent me a picture of it. It was so exciting to see. But that is looking good. I need to trim that so it can start growing new plants. You'll notice here, look, see how this one stem, and it's pretty sturdy. It's not wanting to stand up right now, but you see how there's 2 more here? I can take and I can cut this thing right here, stick that in a little bud vase for Mrs. Bowtie, because she likes these, and it will grow 2 more zinnias. And more zinnias. And then eventually we'll start saving the flowers for more seeds and have all kinds of fun. What happened here? I was looking for that. It's our little stone turtle. I was looking for that. I just barely saw that head sticking up over the... Okay, sorry. Moving right along. Brings us from the zinnia down here up to the cucumbers. I'm so excited. These things exploded in the week we were gone. I mean, positively exploded. These big, huge leaves are soaking up the sun. This thing was not that tall last month. In fact, it was like, what, 2 sprigs over on the other side? Let me see if I can find that video real quick and stick in here. Now look at this thing. Now there's blackberries in here too. There's new blackberry vines. We're going to talk about those blackberries in a second. But look here. There's a cucumber right there. Now this is a Suyo Long Cucumber. There's another one back there and another one right there. There's little buds. Look at. Okay, male and female flowers, people. Okay, you see how there's like a little fruit right there? This is a female flower. The bee will come from a male flower, which I know. Oh, right here. This is a male flower. See, there's no fruit now. Oh, okay. I just killed that flower, but there's no fruit underneath that flower. The bee will go into this male flower, go into this female flower, pollinate it, and then we have another cucumber. And this Suyo Long is a really good producer. Sometimes they fail, but remember, we have a bee box, and right now that bee box is very excited, and so we got plenty of bees to pollinate anything that comes out here. It's one of the biggest reasons I have the bee box here. Let me come over here and you can see here's a really good example of one that's probably already pollinated as big as it is. You see the flower is starting to fail right there. That thing's already pollinated. Something flew from that flower to that flower and pollinated it for us. Very exciting. Very simple. Now I talked about the blackberries in here, and you can see a lot of them are already shriveled and died and dried and gone. The birds have eaten a whole bunch of them. There were probably 50 pounds of blackberries in here that are now gone. We just did not have time before our trip. It was kind of an unplanned trip that kind of happened real fast. So we had to do it best we could. Now, we're going to talk about the age of these vines here in just a few minutes, because I want to go to the next trellis down on bed 1 to do that. But you can see here, and you'll see some blackberries in the background, and of course you can probably hear I'm a little bit hoarse. Yes, I always come back from these trips a little sick, and I'm recovering, but this is the last day of June, folks, and I gotta get the June garden tour done here, right? Otherwise it's not a June garden tour. Anyway,
What is this, folks? If you've watched any of my videos recently, I've talked about turmeric so very much, and this stuff is looking lush. These turmeric are going to be shooting up their flower stalks here pretty soon. I don't see anything coming up. It's still a little bit early, but there is turmeric growing everywhere in here, and like this is ginger. All these are the ginger, and we're going to be digging up some of these ginger and breaking them apart and planting even more ginger around the property because I want to get these things moving fast. That is a green amaranth right there. That's going to have to come out. I noticed another one of those I had to cut out of the pepper bed last month, and there's another one. Boy, where are those coming from? Yeah, the ginger and the turmeric are looking great. Stick around for the video where we'll just dig up one of these ginger and see if we can plant a few more plants around because I got some spaces I want to fill. And moving right along to there, of course, we kind of come back to the blackberries. And I like this little keyhole right in here. This is one of my favorite little keyholes. Of course, it's raining right now. We'll talk about those in a second. It's raining right now, so every time I bump something, it rains all over us, even more. You could probably hear the rain falling in the background. But these are our blackberries, and we're still in bed one here. And you can see here, you see how this is kind of dark, almost turning woody? It will turn woody here pretty soon. And look, there's some berries. That's a good one right there. We could pick that if we wanted to. I don't know if Miss Bowtie wants any more. We have a lot of blackberries saved away. And of course, there's a lot of weeds in here. Like normal in my garden, I don't stress about these things. I tend to get overstressed about stuff, and I don't like that. And so, yeah. Now, oh, looky there. There's another Carolina horse nettle right there. Look how gnarly these leaves are. Oh my goodness. I actually have very little doubt that these came from the equestrian center, but these are just an amazing plant. We're going to see actually the flower for that here in just a minute in this bed. I'm very excited to show you that. But so these blackberries, you'll notice some of these shoots, that's not blackberry, that's a weed. Some of these shoots actually look green. Now you see how that one right there is greener? Now that one's actually spent. It's a bit large. I'm looking for, I'm going to have to go over to the other side. Correction, it's right here. I knew I had one of these right here. Now, notice how this one is really green. This is a primocane, which means this is the cane that grows up the first year. Now, our blackberries, this is not true of all blackberries, but these are true of mine. And it's true of most blackberries. But the first year it comes up with this primocane. It doesn't produce many berries. Most of the time it doesn't produce any berries. We actually get a few off of these primocanes. So these first year canes we're kind of laying aside, and we're going to see some others that I'm laying aside along the way here. But what's going to happen is these big old spent canes, these are the floricanes. This is the second year, and they see how much bigger it is right here, and it's kind of hard. It's turning that purple. It'll get woody even. And so this floricane is not going to produce much anymore. In fact, it's going to die off. And so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going in here very carefully, cutting out all the floricanes, the second year canes, and we are going to be putting these primocanes in their place so that next year this thing is going to be the thing that's producing the blackberries, and we're getting ready for next year's production. So that's the process on these blackberries. So be sure to follow along because I want to get a video out on that. I've done it once before, but it wasn't that great of video. So we're going to go around to the other side, and we were just standing in that keyhole right there. And this is going into our pepper bed. And I am so very excited about everything growing in here. We have things like this. Look at that red pepper. These are Peri. They're kind of a mild, hot pepper. A little bit milder than jalapeno. And they taste phenomenal. Now this right here, this is a Peri. We're talking over 100,000 Scoville on these things. Something like this, that red, oh, it's gonna be hot. I've eaten one of those. Actually, I've eaten a couple of those. One of them on camera. But this huge plant right here, full of Peri. There are literally hundreds of peppers on this plant. It is so very exciting. Some of them are already turning red. I could pick this and eat it right now. These green ones, they're edible, but there's more coming. This thing is enormous. It's probably an entire 4 feet tall. These Peri grow huge. and they produce prolifically, and they actually have a great taste. And then down right here next to it, this smaller one, this is a Tabasco. And these Tabascos are great also. And you can pick these things anytime you want to through their cycle. And they are delicious. Of course, we all know Tabasco. They're delicious. Over there is another Peppadew. And of course, you can keep an eye on this little plant, this garden GPS, and you can tell where we are in the garden. But yeah, there's that Tabasco back over there. This is that huge Peri. This is a Peppadew right here. And this Peppadew, it's becoming one of my favorites. It's not a real hot one, but it has a great flavor. Now you see those little yellow ones down there? Those yellow ones are Fatali. Now these things get hot. Think 200,000 on the Scoville scale. They're kind of tucked in the back there so no one can get them. They're bright orange. Oh, those things are going to be delicious. Maybe my next guest will eat one of these peppers for us. Wouldn't that be fun? More Peri. Look how big these Peri get. These are from my friend over at Chili Chump. Sean over there sold me these seeds. I see the Peppadew. I can't remember if it was the Peppadew and or the Peri, but I got seeds from him in this garden, and those things are going great. Now remember, these plants, some of these plants were planted in 2022. We have a whole video on overwintering the peppers, and in fact, there's that little symbol again. If you look down in the description of the video, there's a timestamps list, and it's an index of everything going on in this video, and you can use those links to go to a particular part of the video if you want to, but that thing is telling you, if you look down and right now in this point in the video, there's a link to a video that talks about how to overwinter peppers. Some of these pepper plants are years old. I happen to know that Fatali back there, it was planted way back in 2022. Isn't that amazing? The the Peppadew didn't come along until last year or 23. I can't remember. And then the Peri came back. I know the Peri came back in 23. So this thing here is huge. It overwintered beautifully. It didn't look like much. And look at it now. It blows my brain that we can overwinter these things that well. It blows my brain that I can overwinter these things that well. Now you'll notice underneath here we even have jalapenos. Look at those things. This is a jalapeno traveler. It's a smaller stature jalapeno, but if I come around over here, check out this. We have some real jalapenos. Yum. These are some monster jalapenos. Look at all these things just hanging out under here. Isn't that just exciting? There we go. Okay, so that takes us around to 2 more pepper plants, and I let these things kind of go over. They're a little grown over, yes, and I'm kind of protecting them a little bit, but these are my Dorset Naga peppers. Now these are very, very, very hot. They come in about 800,000 to 1.6 million on the Scoville scale, and they are really hot. Think ghost pepper. Okay, these are from Nagaland, India originally. One of the few peppers that don't come from the Americas. There are several peppers that come from overseas. These things are starting to grow up. This one here is looking very promising. We've got one more over in bed number 3 that we'll look at in a little bit. But yeah, these things are looking very promising. And well, this one is. I'm still holding out for this one. I need to get some of the stuff off of it. But you see it's got that protective sleeve around it that kind of keeps it protected so that nothing gets to it. And yes, I do use some slug repellent around these things because I don't want them eaten, which is why they don't look as eaten as they could be right now. So, and then of course we have this little ivy that I have to keep pulling out. I haven't found any daughter over here yet. There is a, look at that marigold still trying to survive down there. And that's fine. I just bought a few of those from my local Ace Hardware, and they were cheap. Okay, so remember that Carolina horse nettle I was showing you earlier? I wanted to show you these flowers. Now this is a gnarly plant. Look at the even the leaves have spines on them. These things are scary. On the bottom they have spines. On the top there's spines right there. These leaves are just nothing short of scary. But look at the delicate little flowers. I've been so fascinated with the weed flowers this year. Those are so neat, and the colors are amazing. It almost makes me want to keep this thing around. Now, this is an easy thing to pull up. I'm not going to do it with bare hands because it hurts. But if I'm wearing my gloves, I'll just reach down there and pull that thing slowly, and it comes right up from the roots. It is an easy one to pull up. That's that Carolina horse nettle. Looky there. There's new blackberry vines right there. This is new. Oh, I just broke off the end. It'll grow a new end. Did not mean to do that. All of this up here and the blackberries through the tree here, all of that is old. All of that will be gone. We will cut it all out. So our solitary bee box is not doing anything yet. Not sure why. I really need to get on with Crown Bees. Crown Bees did a phenomenal episode on Joe Gardner about solitary bees that changed my life, and I really need to get with them and get a box and start raising my own solitary bees. They're better pollinators. They are not aggressive. They're easier to live with, and there's just so many benefits to having them that I think any garden should have them. I do have the bee box over there, of course, but this here, I need to get more in this direction. It's a goal of mine. And that, of course, brings us past our decorative pear tree, which I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but we come down to bed number 2. And first off, I have got to say, I have always looking for plants that will grow no matter what. And these turmeric, I don't even remember planting these. I'm sure it was in that last round a month or two ago. And in fact, you might have seen that short where it came out that that forgotten cup of turmeric. That's probably what these are. There's no flags on them or anything, so that was probably that last planting. Look how huge they are. That wasn't long ago. They're enormous. And the thing I love about them, doesn't matter what's growing on top of them, they're coming up, come hell or high water. They're coming up. And there they are. And they're looking beautiful. I'm so happy to see turmeric. This is the kind of plant I want to grow more of in my gardens. And of course, this blackberry, you can see, this is a primocane. Now, this primocane is huge. It goes up there, goes up the trellis and over. But it didn't produce berries this year. Though it is actually a primocane. And, I mean, look at all that's on it. This is a huge primocane. This is going to be a big producer for next year. So we will be sure that when we take this old dead stuff out, we're going to protect this thing and we're going to stick it into this trellis. Now, over there where those cucumbers are that we looked at earlier, as those vines go downhill, those cucumbers are going to start climbing on those vines. So we will leave some of those vines for the cucumbers to grow on. And that will be another purpose for the floricanes, the second year canes, that we don't want anymore, but we can let the cucumbers consume them and grow their own produce. And of course, that brings us to the beans. And the beans look amazing. It looks like a cave under here, doesn't it? It is just amazing to see. There is a 16-foot cattle panel there, and then there's another 16-foot cattle panel up on top that you just almost can't see. And we don't have a lot of beans here. These are the Blue Lake stringless pole beans, and we are picking what we can, but it hasn't been a lot yet. Now, we got a problem in here. I know, we got problems. First off, there's too many, way too many. And so I'm kind of letting them fight it out, letting them duke it out, you know. And when I planted these, I was planting very old seed, and I thought, oh, there is no way these can grow. And so I planted out pretty thick, probably 3 times as thick as I would normally. And let me tell you something, everything grew. Everything grew. And so it is so thick that these beans are having a hard time developing beans. And so if I look up in here, though, you can see there's that trellis up there on the top. That's it, right at my reach level on purpose so I can reach it. And I see no beans in here. I see little buds in here and there, but I don't see very many beans. When this thing starts producing, it will produce hundreds and hundreds of beans. They're so thickly planted in there, though, that it's a mess. It's a little bit of a mess. I could go in here and maybe cut every third or fourth or every other stem underneath there. I do know some of these are going to start failing. In fact, you can see there's dead leaves here and there. I'm not worried about it. They're going to fail. They're going to thin themselves. They're going to work it out. And I like that when they can work themselves out. This is the 4th or 5th year I've grown these Blue Lake stringless pole beans. I love them tremendously. They are a great producer. They are aggressive, and of course I have to keep them off the tomatoes, and I come through here and I will cut and break off pieces that are growing into our tomatoes just to protect them. We'll talk about tomatoes in it. Actually, let's go over to the other side and talk about tomatoes. Now, folks, these tomatoes are under siege by the beans, and I have to come in here and keep them cut off. The big mistake I made here, I should have planted these beans right on the edge of the bed. I should not have planted them back about a foot. That was my mistake. Hopefully next year, one of you will remind me of that when I start planting these things and showing you I'm planting my tomatoes again, and I'm planting them a foot in again, and this is going to happen. But you can see there's lots of tomatoes in here. This is exciting because these things are delicious. I can see a really nice one hidden way back under there. But these things are nice and delicious. We have picked a bunch of these. This is the Principe Borghese, one of our favorite because it's supposed to be a determinate, which means it's supposed to grow to a certain size. It's supposed to produce a certain length of time, and it's supposed to die at a certain time. I've actually had these Principe Borghese on a non-freezing winter survive the winter and produce all winter and into the second year. They are just a robust tomato plant. I think it was sold to me as a cherry tomato, but I mean, look at the size of that. That's more like a plum. That's actually a smallish one. Some of these are eaten by birds and some are not. And I don't get messed up about that because, hey, they're out here too and they're part of the system. And so you see, oh, see, that's one I've cut off recently. I just come in here when I see them and I just pull, make sure they're, not under attack. So, yep, the Principe Borghese are under attack. The Sun Gold are now sulking. And we actually came in here and tied up these on single leaders, and like this one here, it's not doing that great. There's one down here that just, I don't know what happened here. This one just didn't make it. But there are 4 of them over here all tied up to this trellis up at the top, single leader, and we just keep wrapping them around. And if I need to, like this one here, see how this one's going past the end of the string? I'll untie that string. I'll tie another 3 or 4 feet on there, and I'll tie it further over. Or I might just, take this stem and pile it up in the ground here. But these things should keep going. You can see there's one right there. Don't tell Mrs. Bowtie we love these things. These are some of our absolute favorite. The eternal, oh my goodness. That's so sweet. The eternal debate, and flavorful. Whether it's Sun Gold or Sun Sugar, which is the better? Hands down, Sun Gold. That is the best tomato. And of course, the Supersweet 100 are just rallying down here. And you'll notice we did put up the shade cloth. Mrs. Bowtie and I got out here, hung the shade cloth up so that these tomatoes would have some protection in our destined Florida sun, because it gets a little hot and our temperatures are going to start climbing. But I mean, look how thick this thing is, and there's tomatoes all over it. Again, we've been picking these. The rain is just all over it right now. They're so very happy. And remember, now we've gotten this much rain today alone. What's that, 3 inches? And wow, it's just, you go 3 inches of rain in a couple hours in some places, and there's going to be massive flooding. Remember, we have sand under our feet, this white draining sand, and that stuff sucks away the water. It doesn't matter if we get a foot of rain, in 10 minutes, all the puddles are gone because of our sand. And that's how much water we've gotten today, just since this morning when I emptied it. My goodness, that's a lot of water. So what that means is all these tomatoes have been watered sufficiently. They have been, think of it as bottom watered. Their bottoms have been soaked, and then the water's just drained away, because underneath this bed, now the bed's filled with compost and soil, real good stuff. Underneath the bed is sand. In fact, there's 3 rows of bricks down there, the white, and then 3 rows of 8-inch cinder blocks. And then we dug down about another foot and put in logs. We put in, what did we put in? We put in sticks. We put in 130 big, huge contractor bags of leaves. We put in horse bedding compost for 3 years now. And so these beds are very well worked over. But when it rains, all the excess water is gone in no time. And it's just wonderful stuff. We are just in love with our our soil. And so I'm coming through here and, oh, what is this? I need to find out what that is. That's kind of pretty. It's a weed. Oh, I know what that is. Ah, hold on. Oh my goodness, I knew it. I knew it was going to be obvious. Here we are over on the other side. There it is right there. Follow it down, follow it down. Oh, there's a label. It is a chocolate mint. Of course it is. That's a mint. Okay, so that's in our mint bag. This is one of those bags that we did the punch gardening in. Remember that video? See if I can put a little snippet in here. It is a beautiful little flower, though. I knew I recognized it. I could not. My brain couldn't tell me. But this stuff is wonderful. This chocolate mint. Oh, I love it. I love it. Wonderful stuff. And of course, looking around at the aloe patch, there's a few aloes poking out here and there. And this one is looking quite beautiful. We had a few flowerings this year. They were wonderful. I like the aloe when they flower. It's beautiful. Now, I know when I show you things like this overgrown aloe patch, it looks like we don't even live here, but we do. And it really comes down to we have busy lives. We do a lot of stuff. And we have to pick the things that we do. In fact, we actually just trimmed the Sasqua hedge out front. Remember that from the front and side garden tour? Well, that is finally trimmed. I'm very excited about that because the front looks beautiful. And this will look beautiful eventually too when my brain gets to it. And so we're coming over here to this wonderful strawberry patch. And look, what is this? More turmeric. Yep. Oh. Look at there. There's going to be a zinnia real soon. Oh, I'm excited. I see another one off there in the middle. Very excited about that. Now, this right here, this little cluster that you see here, is supposed to be a strawberry. And with a little bit of work, there's a happy strawberry. And yeah, I know. It got buried, and I kind of neglected it a bit. We were traveling. So there it is. It's back. And you can see there's already new growth coming up down here and here. These things will take I see new growth coming in between there. Real short little stubbies of growth. So that will come out. It'll actually start putting out runners. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Strawberries are actually a lot more sturdy than we give them credit for. And of course the mint over here, this thing is looking fantastic. Let me go over to the other side real quick. This stuff is looking amazing. Again, another punch gardening victim. But hey, is that going to be a green amaranth? We got to pull these things out. I know. And when I'm doing garden tours, I feel highly obligated to look like we're doing actual gardening here. So that and this can come out. These are leaf flower. Look underneath all the leaves. There's seeds underneath every single one of those leaves. Isn't that amazing? And they actually bloom. But we pull out the leaf flower. We pull out the green amaranth that we don't want. We pull out more leaf flower. And we end up with a thriving mint plant because mint don't care, folks. Mint is tough. It'll grow no matter what. It can get choked out. Oh, I just pulled a mint out. No, I didn't. That's a leaf flower. And that will be happy for another month. And of course, we take these. Did you see our outer garden bed tour? This is our solar weed sauna. You got to watch the outer garden bed tour to see it. We take all those weeds that we've been pulling out and we just drop it in that bucket. That right there is a lot of great brown for the compost. We talk about compost in that outer garden bed tour every month. So here across from that mint we just weeded, we have our Citronella. And we are about to do a trimming video on this. You'll have to go over and watch Enoch Graham's show on either Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Saturday. And we're going to trim this thing and get a whole bunch of cuttings off this and get a whole bunch of free Citronella plants. Won't that be exciting? Free stuff, people. Yeah, let me say that again. Free stuff, people. So, and this thing will grow again. This thing will grow all this back again. This thing wasn't but about maybe 8 inches tall when I first bought it over at Lowe's. Look at it now. It's gorgeous. And now we're going to go over there to all that turmeric going. So past that Citronella, we come over here to this kind of random bed that I've been dealing with. And hey, this huge thing is a Brussels sprout. It's a Brussels sprout plant that's, I don't know, 2 years old. And look at these massive things growing on the end. I still want to get one of these and make sauerkraut out of those things. Normally the Brussels sprouts grow up along the stem. Many of you have already seen that. I've been told that's very edible, so I want to treat it like cabbage and sauerkraut it. Tons of turmeric. Oh, another thing is, now y'all saw a couple months ago when I harvested that elephant garlic, I knew there was another one over here, and I found it. And I dug around, and I got 3 more cloves of garlic. I didn't find the corms. I know they're under there, so I think we're going to have more garlic there. I never did find the one. There's supposed to be a garlic up under here somewhere that grew from a corm from last year, and I'm not going to worry about it. It'll grow some more next year. Anyway, we've got some sago palms coming up in here from the tree that I buried under here years and years ago. It is still shooting up. Oh my goodness, this thing is just stubborn. Stubborn, I tell you. But that turmeric is looking gorgeous. It's going to start shooting out its little flower stalks soon. I don't see anything yet, but I just love all this turmeric. It's going to grow up no matter what. And now remember, this turmeric has a little bit allelopathic properties, which means it's going to help keep the weeds back a little bit. Not a lot, but it does help a little bit. And we come over here now. Remember those Dorset Naga we saw before in this video? This is my baby. This one I'm very proud of. It is growing strong. It is another Dorset Naga we planted over here. I do want to fold up this shade cloth about back to the next hook so that it can get more sun, because I think it might need more sun than the 50% that's hitting it now. So I'm over here. There's that Dorset Naga that I'm really proud of. Here's the trellis for the Supersweet 100. And right here, folks, I know a lot of you saw that short about the moldy onion I found in the fridge. And I went and planted it because it had a sprout in it. I planted it right here, people, and it is gone. There was no evidence of it being dug up. Nothing. I dug around here quite a bit looking for it. Ooh, that's not thunder. That's a plane. I dug around quite a bit and I could not find it. So it is gone. It looked like it might have just rotted away. This will be a short also because I got to update people. But there's a link up there, of course. You can go see that short where I did this. It did not work. And I don't know why. I should have planted it in a starter pot of some kind. Moving along to the very last thing in this bed number 3, and that is the tomatoes. It's the other side of the Supersweet 100. We looked over here, and we have the side we already looked at, which is very thick. We have this side now, which is not as thick, but it still has a lot. I mean, look it up there. This thing is growing strong. Now, this thing will produce until the first freeze. And it's producing a lot. Look over here. And yes, those Supersweet 100s are sweet. They are delicious. They are growing good. I enjoy eating these. These are one of my garden treats that I eat when I'm out here. Yes, I eat a lot of them. A lot of them don't make it to Mrs. Bowtie. And she knows. Okay, people? Tell all you want. She knows. Okay, that looks like an amaranth right there. I'm presuming it's probably going to be another green amaranth, but it's got a purple stem. Does green amaranth have a purple stem? I don't know. Editing Dave here. I just ran out and pulled that thing. I'm supposed to have some purple amaranth somewhere on this property, and I don't know where it's going to come up. I will pull these leaf flowers out because I definitely don't want them developing any further. Look at there. So I just set them here, and eventually I'll take a walk around the garden and throw everything in the bin over by the solar weed sauna. The last thing over here on this bed is the end. Got to push my way past the sun gold tomatoes, and we have down here a remaining, and this thing does not look great, but there are still leaves growing on this gojiberry. I did pull out the other stem. There was a tree here. In fact, I have that tree. I left it here so I could show you. This is the tree that's been growing out of it, and I didn't get a completely clean cut off the root, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. But this tree was trying to grow up next to the gojiberry for the past 2 or 3 years. Look how big that stem is. Now, I did have to take out one of the gojiberry plants to get it out because they were all entwined. There's even live leaves down here. I'm hoping that that gojiberry will take off now that this is out of its way, because, folks, it was hurting it. And we have a lot of gojiberry over here, so I'm not worried about it dying back. I come in here and I get the ivy out of there when I can, and it'll be fine. It grows. Gojiberry is pretty hardy, and it grows over there. In fact, there is a... Let me walk around here. See how far I'm walking over here, because there was, in the beginning of the outer garden bed tour, this thing right here that I showed briefly. Remember that? And down at the base of this, it had grown over the trellis, and it had started to root somehow. I don't see any roots here, but this thing here, this branch goes up, over, through there, down to that other plant. I can now take this and I can go stick this in the ground somewhere, and it will start another plant, people. That's gojiberry. Isn't that the coolest thing? I'll come down here, and by the time the summer is over, that thing will have rooted a whole new plant right there. Just kind of keep an eye on that. Follow along, subscribe, so you can see the progress on things like that. It's one of the biggest reasons to subscribe to Bowtie Life, because I love doing little things like this along the way. And there's one thing I didn't, oh, look at that. Oh, this is the base of one of those ivies. Let's get that thing out of there. Oh, yeah, that felt good. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. That's a big old root. Ah, that felt really good. I'm going to throw that out into the solar weed sauna. That's what I'm doing with that. So that's the June raised garden bed tour. We've got mint under weeds. We've got rogue trees coming up in the Gojis. And of course, triumphant turmeric coming up everywhere, isn't it? If you learned something or just needed a nudge to go pull some weeds, please click that thumbs up on this video, leave a comment below, and maybe share this with a friend of yours. You know, that fellow gardener that you text with in town, send them a link to the video. I'd appreciate that. And of course, it's obvious, I'm a strong believer that your garden doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Have a blessed day.